Welcome to the Look Good Move Well podcast.
Yeah, welcome back to the pod, everyone. This is the first time we're recording in 2026.
Heck yeah.
Happy New Year, Satya.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Nate. What'd you do to celebrate the new year?
I went to bed at 8:30.
Sick.
Loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Nothing. Yeah, I almost stayed up until 11 that night.
Oh God.
Which was brutal. But no, we went over to our friend Corey and Annie's house and we watched it was actually funny because we were like watching the what were we doing? We were watching Times Square New Year's Eve like stuff, and then on YouTube TV. I don't even know how you get television anymore, but they have something up, and so we're like watching it, and I keep looking down, and I'm like, it's like 8:58. I'm like, they don't look like they're preparing for the ball to drop. Like it's dropping in 2 minutes, like because we're on the West Coast, and then like it's 9:01, and I'm like, guys, like we're missing the ball drop, like, and then they're like, oh, because they're playing a delay on this particular channel. So we switched to another channel, which was live, and there was like already the confetti everywhere. And we missed the whole thing. And then, anyway, so we eventually like did the rewind and then watched it, the countdown. The girls got excited, and then we left. We went home and tried to get people to bed.
Yeah, right on.
That was it.
Yeah. I feel like my new year starts January 4th because, not to get all depressing, but my mom died on January 3rd many years ago. But it's like that. I feel like I always have to like get past that date, and then I can be like, okay, now I'm like into the new year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, here you are.
Here I am. But now
Happy
I'm in it.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Well, so we're going to use this day to talk about what we learned in 2025. Fitness wise.
Yeah. And what we want to learn.
And what we want to learn in 2026.
That's right.
And you know what's cool is that, I don't know, say what you want about AI, ChatGPT, other of these LLMs. I got my AI voice recorder pendant that I wear all the time. If you have enough conversations with these things and they can track your conversations, you can go back and do some good summaries.
Yeah.
And so I just did I did this over the weekend, actually. I did because I was listening to Layla's podcast on like her 5 big lessons from 2025 as it related to business, because they run a business that coaches businesses. So I was like, I want to do that for fitness. And I did this. I went with 10, but then I just added in like, what are 5 things that I'm wanting to learn and refine in the coming year. And this list is just so on point.
Really?
Yeah, it really is on point. So why don't we go through one by one? There's 10 lessons and 5 things to focus on and refine for 2026. And we'll just go one at a time, give a couple minutes to each. And I think there's something to learn here.
Okay.
You up for it?
Sure.
Okay. So top 10 fitness lessons learned in the past year. Number 1, more work was not the answer. When you hear that, given what we've learned from so many conversations, what do you think about?
I mean, I think of a lot of things, but I definitely think of fitness being like, something that people tend to overdo when it's not necessary. And I also reflect on my work with the business, and business and fitness often have so many parallels.
Yeah. I think is that there are a lot of people that need to do more work. It's not that they're doing too much. So that's how this could, when I first read this, I was like, I'm not so sure. I think that person definitely needs to do a little bit more work. Right. So doing more is what we have to try and achieve for a lot of people. However, people overshoot what they need to do to see success. And so it's like, I need to do this much in order to be successful. And for those of you who can't see, I'm raising my hand very high. You have to do this much work, right? But really, you need to do more work consistently. Because if you start the year and you choose to do 3 efforts per week, but you do all three for the next 52 weeks of the year, guess what? You're going to have 156 wins. Whereas if you try and go and get 6 this week and then 6 next week, and then by week 3, you've burned out and you're only doing 1 a week, then by the end of the year, you may have lost to the person that just decided to do the right amount from the beginning and were able to stay consistent. So this lesson about more work is not always the answer. It's, I think certainly when it has come to fitness, a lot of our clients are like, I got to do 5 days a week of training. I got to do these extra, cardio sessions. I've got to walk 15,000 steps a day. I've got to cut this out and this out. And it just becomes way too much and they can't even do it.
You know what I think it is for me is that, if you're doing more and more without pausing to reflect on whether it's working or not, then that's the issue.
Sure.
Yeah.
True. Okay. Number 2, walking fixed more problems than high intensity conditioning ever did.
1000% agree.
Yeah. Did you experience this?
Yeah. And I really changed my relationship with walking over the last year or two. And it's been so impactful. And now the biggest takeaway for me is that when I sit too long, I start to get that feeling like my body signals that it's time to get up and move.
Mm-hmm.
And that just feels like such a natural, healthy rhythm to be in, to become more of a mover.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the deeper layer on this one. And it's actually the question that came up on the community forum this weekend. It's like one of our members, was it Pamela?
I think her name it started with an M.
Did Margaret? I don't know.
I'm going to look it up while you're talking.
Okay. Well, either way, while you look it up, the question was basically like, hey, I have really bad plantar fasciitis. And Marcus talks about, 10,000 steps a day as part of the fundamental blueprint for 2026. Margaret. So what do I do? Well, it's not about getting 10,000 steps a day. It's about getting 60 to 90 minutes of low level physical activity in. Low intensity, steady state, or just low intensity activity. And, for somebody that might look like gardening. It might look like, doing some housework, vacuuming the house. It could look like going and getting steps in. It could look like getting on a bike and riding it nice and easy. It could look like, doing some water walking in the pool. There's a lot of ways to get low level activity in. It could be just manual labor or waiting tables or something like that. The problem is that most people don't have a lot of activity built into their life. And so steps become just the easiest way to approximate, are you getting that 90 minutes of movement that is sort of not purposeful exercise or training, right? And when people shift to that focus of just, I got to move more every day by getting my steps in, it does so much more for their overall health, wellness, body weight, body composition than staring down 7 days of the week and saying, where am I going to fit in my hard cardio sessions? Okay, I've got these 2 or 3 cardio sessions that I'm going to go do. And then their entire physical activity revolves around those 3 hours, as opposed to every day, I'm just going to find more opportunities to move and be less sedentary. Okay, number 3, training intensity is a skill, not a personality trait.
Love that.
What do you love about that?
Because I think that a lot of people, I think back to when I first started training and I used to wear these crappy, cheap leggings. And I felt like I did that because I didn't see myself as an athlete. And I felt like athletes are people who know how to train and know how to train hard. And that wasn't me. And I didn't realize that that's something that anybody can learn, and not just you are or you aren't, because I never thought of myself as athletic.
Yes. Gosh, this lesson to me is just it's way deeper than just the surface level of learning how to push hard in the gym. Mm-hmm. It's learning how to believe you are worthy of getting in the gym and and making progress and being athletic. Like,
Yeah. And it's like when the ladies come in and I'm like seeing them start with the 10-pound plates on the bar. And I'm like, no, like the greens are for you.
yes, the greens are yours.
And now it's like the yellows are for you. The blues are for you, not other people. Yeah.
Yes. And it is absolutely a skill. And there are certain individuals who have, and women in particular, who've just been sort of like culturally taught, like, you're not supposed to do that. And it's like, no, you are, and you deserve to, and you can. And there's nothing that like inherently you don't have that, like, you know, some stereotypical macho dude has.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other area of this is that, like, you know, intensity is a skill. Also knowing when to hold back on intensity. Yeah, some people just, you know, and then there's the people who are like, I'll just get after it every day. And it's like, well,
should I push my warm-up sets to failure? That was a question in the community board today.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, well, some days maybe, but most days probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Number 4, 5 days a week breaks more adults than it builds. This one, I'm just going to say, like, I learned this one. This is basically my journey past 35 years old. I think I started to really evaluate whether 5 days a week of training hard was doing more harm than it was doing good for me. And I think the last phase of my life where I held on to 5 days a week of training, like trying to lift hard, was the summer of 2023. After that, I gave it up, and I haven't looked back. And there was a phase in my life where 5 days a week of hard training was perfect for me. It was right. I could even tolerate more. But I think when I say adult, I don't mean like a specific age. I guess I'm referring to like when life starts to stack responsibilities and you've got, you know, multiple buckets that you're pouring your energy into, family, kids, you know, career, and trying to keep your physical body together. It's very hard to be able to bring that level of intensity thoughtfully to 5 days a week and still have energy and good recovery for the rest of your life.
Totally.
Yeah. Being too lean is a real performance limiter. That certainly was, and I learned this through getting out of my leanest days. And granted, we just finished the 2-week holiday break, but I just clocked in on the scale at 195 this morning, which is, I feel like a big boy right now.
Oh yeah.
It's about as big, as big as I've been in a while. My inadvertent lean bulk that I just did.
I did a little one too.
But with that said, like, you know, I guess 3 years ago around this time, or 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago now. I was like 178. Yeah. And was leaner and I didn't sleep as good. My mood was poor. Didn't have great hormones. Like my testosterone was half of what it is now. And yeah, I mean, I'm not, yeah, it's huge. It's huge for a lot of things. So I've felt it from a personal standpoint, and yeah, and I still have like the mental confusion around like, oh, I should be leaner. I want to be leaner. I need to be leaner. That's years of like programming that's in my brain. I'm trying to. I still have to fight back from time to time.
Yeah, I probably do too. I think it's been very helpful to get your feedback when you're coaching Satya mode. Just be like, hey, you don't need to be that lean. I'm like, oh, it's not like I'm trying, but it's like, oh, that's a good reminder that, you know, sometimes you need that outside feedback to help you see those things.
Yeah. Okay. Simplicity wins. We're on number 6.
Yep.
Simplicity wins when life gets full.
Burrito mode.
Boom. This is all about food. Yeah,
it's all about the burrito.
It's all about the burrito. Single ingredient foods.
i.e., take a tortilla, slap some chicken in there, roll it up, and eat it.
Squeeze a little sour cream. Yeah, this is about being boring on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, like life is getting really busy. Okay, well, what's the simplest thing that I can do in the important areas? And look, I'm a big fan of like, well, obviously we write these training programs for people to follow. Like, there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of variety, and there's a lot of similarities week to week in there. But like, let's say if life was really busy and I just didn't want to actually, perfect example. I just had like a consultation with one of our, my platinum clients, coaching clients, and he and his wife and family, they're like traveling with 2 little kids more or less for the next year. Like, he's going to be in the Middle East for like the next 3 to 5 months. And like, they're in this transition month where they're just kind of going from the States through the Netherlands, like meeting up with all these different family members, staying in hotels. And I'm like, oh gosh, life is full on for you right now. How do we simplify training like the most? And I was like, he doesn't know if he's going to have access to a gym. I'm like, oh, cool. We're going to do these 3 like active mobility sessions, and you're going to do them twice a week each. You're going to walk, and then these are your 4 bodyweight exercises, and you're going to try at least, 3 days a week to knock out this many reps of each one. And that's it. It's like the same thing every week. Like, it's okay to do the same thing over and over and over again. Because if you keep it super simple and not relying on complicated things, like, you have a better chance of getting it done when everything else is kind of crazy. And with food, it always seems to work. Like right now, like this past weekend, after 2 weeks of being out of schedules, and I was feeling kind of, I just did a lot of meal prep, and I have like the same breakfast, lunch, dinner, afternoon snack, like all prepared in the fridge. Like, I just literally picked it up, put it in my bag, and walked out the door this morning.
Nice.
Yeah. Consistency, number 7, consistency beats novelty once you're past the beginner stage.
Yeah. I think sometimes you have to have strategic novelty to keep yourself motivated. And so I think that there are cycles of this. For myself, sometimes it's not like I'm not going to be consistent, but I think that I'm more motivated if I have a little bit of something that I'm working on, or a little bit of an interest I'm exploring.
Yeah. I feel that. I also think that a lot of the novelty, like, bias that people have does come from like sort of that, when they first started training, anything
was great.
Anything worked.
Yeah.
Anything and everything worked. And then it's like, well, back when I first started, I was like making all this progress, and I was doing like CrossFit, or, I was doing a bunch of different types of workouts every day and every week, and it was always changing. It's like, yeah, well, it's because anything works when you're a beginner. Not anything. The most important thing is you got to have some intensity, and you got to get it, do the work hard, and whatever thing gets you there. But then after some point, when you don't have enough consistency, you're past that beginner stage, your body needs longer to adapt and to develop, and if you're doing something new each week, it's every week, it's your program hopping to something new, your body's constantly just trying to figure out what's going on. And it doesn't have enough time to actually like lay some good muscle, some good nervous system patterns to get stronger, to improve your technique. And perhaps as you get more and more trained, like for the first 3 to 5 years, some of those cycles they might need to be longer, like 12 weeks of doing a lot of the same stuff, versus changing every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. How are we doing on time? We're doing good. We're at 20 minutes. Okay, number 8. Conditioning should support lifting, not compete with it.
Yeah, I like the functional pump conditioning that we do in Persist. I like that we have intervals and control points like farmer carries that intentionally slow you down a bit. And I think that makes a huge impact for the people who do those workouts.
Yeah. I mean, the goal with training is to get strong, build muscle.
Yeah.
Conditioning or building cardiovascular fitness should be something that comes like, you should have some, you should build some, but good proper resistance training does build cardiovascular fitness. Getting in a lot of steps, throughout a given week, it can help build a base of cardiovascular fitness. Doing weighted walks, adding a ruck to your steps that you do every single week, that can help build cardiovascular fitness. Dedicated conditioning, aerobic efforts, it's valuable, but it shouldn't compete with those other pieces, getting strong, building muscle. And so if it's done the right way, it can absolutely support it. The moment it starts to steal away, it's like, oh man, I've been doing like 4 runs a week and my lifts are kind of crashing. It's like, well, unless you're training for something that demands like a lot of aerobic output, like unless you're training for an event or something like that, I would ask the question like, is my priority in the right place? Number 9, recovery signals matter more than motivation. I think this was a personal lesson that I started to learn. There were a number of years where I kind of put my wearables down, and I was like, I'm not going to wear wearables for a little bit because, scores that I would see like didn't match how I was feeling, didn't
right.
match and I started to get a little bit conflicted and confused. But then I went back and started wearing my, and so the lesson that I kind of took from that is like the day-to-day scores should not impact your decisions about how you're going to run your plan. That myself and many of my clients that I was coaching, how they were using wearables was like, I woke up this morning, it said this, I felt like this, and I was conflicted and I didn't know what to do, and it really frustrated me. Or I woke up feeling like this, but then I saw this and I decided that I was going to change my course of action today and I was going to try something different, or I was going to go harder than I was feeling like I should. And this day-to-day confusion really wasn't helpful for a lot of people, because you shouldn't be like making any one judgment based upon the data from today. Just like with your weight on the scale. It's like, oh, today I'm up 2 pounds. Oh my gosh, like my diet's not working, or whatever's happening isn't working. Therefore I need to no, we run a plan, we run a program, you spend 6-12 weeks doing that. And then you evaluate on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, hey, what's happening to the trends of my data? And so I kind of moved away from it because I was getting down on like the day-to-day fluctuations and it not matching. Mm-hmm. I ultimately went back to it. I was like, look, I need to actually just not pay attention on a day-to-day, but every month, let's take stock. Oh, this past month, like my resting heart rate was 10 beats per minute above where it was 2 years ago. What's that about? Like, that doesn't seem right. Like, I'm not that much less cardiovascularly fit than I was back then. Let me investigate that. And so I really, now I'm like looking at some of these metrics as the same way I look at blood markers. I do blood tests maybe twice a year, and I look at them and I'm like, okay, how's my general health right now? Okay, what's my HRV trend for the past 4 months? Has it been flatlined? Has it gone down? What's my resting heart rate look like for the past bunch of months? Has it gone up? Has it gone down? Has it stayed flat? And then based upon those numbers, hey, okay, what's a reasonable change that I could make, going forward? And oftentimes it points most people back to the fundamentals that we teach all the time. But at some point, maybe it points you towards something a little bit more nuanced than just the very fundamentals that you need in your life. Or maybe it makes you look at something that you've been doing recreationally that's not supporting you. Like, I was using nicotine for focus and for stimulant, and I was overusing it. And I think that's what drove my resting heart rate up a lot. So I'm like, okay, I need to pull back on this. I have now an accountability piece that's going to make me be honest with like, yeah, maybe that's too much for me right now. Okay, moving along. We're at number 10. The goal is not to survive workouts. The goal is to look good, move well, and still want to train next week. So longevity or sustainability has become the real focus as opposed to crushing oneself on a day-to-day basis. And it's so interesting because like this is something I have to come back to all the time. Like, and it's part of my sort of my plan for 2026 to start the year off in these first 2 training cycles of Persist is I'm trying very intentionally to leave a little bit more in the tank on my final sets of, you know, each of the core exercises of the day. That's like, I'm very trained. And when I push to failure, it looks different than somebody who's a beginner just because I know how to train really well. I know how to push to failure. And sometimes that might not be the best thing for me and might leave me a little bit fatigued and tired because I'm not recovering as well as I have in the past. So I'm just paying very close attention to like, not just survive this workout and get through it, but like set myself up for a great next session on Wednesday. Cause we trained this morning and I know that coming in on Wednesday, I'm going to be able to bring a great effort because I didn't just completely empty the tank on Monday.
Yeah. I'd like to add 2 of my own.
I would love to hear them.
Yeah. My first one is focus more on opportunities to get stronger than reasons to be afraid. And I've had a couple physical ailments and I've always had this sort of low back pain and hip pain. And I've learned that getting stronger fixes a lot of things and that I'm more resilient than I could imagine in a lot of ways. And when I changed my mentality to where is my opportunity to get really, really strong instead of, oh gosh, I'm afraid to do that because that might cause an issue, that has made a huge impact over this past year of my training.
Love that. Can you give one specific example of that?
One is I've been really using a lot of the 4-way hip machine and just really getting in there, just tons of hip work, tons of hip flexor work. And it's like, oh, like I always thought that this hip issue, low back issue was just sort of like a permanent part of my anatomy. And to some degree, it probably is. I'm sure I have some like, I don't know, disc degeneration or like something's going on in there. But if I just go and get strong, it fixes a lot of that. And I can get back under a barbell and I can do heavy back squats and I can do Olympic lifts and I can do everything that I want to do. So, and in fact, with less pain than I had been before. And so I think the mentality of like, oh, like I'm going to shy away from back squats and I'm just only going to do leg press, like it does a disservice rather than just looking for an opportunity to get strong.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I've also kind of maybe I'm starting the year off a little bit too. Like I had sort of leaned away from certain movement patterns or certain movements that, you know, when I was pushing them to the level and to the extreme that I had in the past, it was causing me pain and it was causing me discomfort. And I was like, you know what? I think I've maybe just graduated from that. Like I don't need to do that anymore. I'm going to focus on things that make me feel better. And sort of like revisiting some of those old movements and letting my ego kind of chill. Just be like, okay, I just want to move here, rebuild some strength in these positions, even if it's not, you know, anywhere close to what I've done in the past. Oh boy. Oh, that's what I was like, why are you giving that side eye to your microphone?
We had advice not to ever touch our microphones and then mine just literally fell. Sorry, I have to.
You were looking at it like there was maybe a bug on it. Like I was like, oh, she's like looking borderline uncomfortable with this microphone. And then it just absolutely fell and crashed onto your body.
Yeah.
All right. It'll make it for the last minute here.
I'll just hold it for the last minute here because I have one more thought.
That's we're going to close on your last one.
Okay, but then we have to do what we want to learn too.
That's going to be the next episode, everyone.
Oh.
Be prepared.
Okay. All right. Well, then my last one is that sharing your ability to train and be healthy and be strong with someone you love is the biggest gift. and I'm probably going to get emotional talking about this, but like my son has gotten really into training over this last year, and he always used to get sick like clockwork every single winter, like every 3 weeks. And he has not gotten sick once this year. And seeing him grow into like a thriving, healthy, strong person who loves to train and who comes and trains with me, and like we do planks together. Like he's so into it, and like I'm like, I don't know if it'll last, like I don't know, but like I feel like I have given him something that I didn't know was possible, like as a mother, to share that with someone you love and see your child thrive because of all the work that you've put in on your own health has just been so impactful.
Wow. Yeah. It's been really cool to watch too. Yeah. We've been witness to it here, and he is getting jacked and excited about his body and moving. And I saw that Pascal did some working out with you too the other day.
Starting to get interested.
That's just so cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a child. It can be a partner or spouse, a friend. But yeah, it's like using people learning how to use their bodies, build their bodies, add strength and capacity to what they currently can do. It's just, there's an emotional, psychological growth that can happen there that is nothing, like it can't be really captured in just like words and like in muscle that grows and body change. And I know that is something we'll talk about for what do we want to learn more in 2026, or what are we wanting to focus on in 2026. But, for sure 2026 is going to continue to look very, very different in the fitness landscape, particularly around medical intervention in fitness and in weight loss. Pharmaceutical industry is going to be tapping into fitness a lot, and so much of it is, being talked about as health improvements, and there are certainly health improvements that are there to be made, but people are grabbing a hold of it as a way to change their look. Aesthetics are the main driver of the money to be made in that pharmaceutical intervention into the fitness industry, and changing the way someone looks versus changing how they feel, how they can use their body, and how they can show up as strong, capable people for years to come. They're just very different things. And I want to really lean into that in our next podcast. So Satya, thank you for adding those on the tail end. Those are very powerful and more emotionally driven than my list. So I always value that balance of our conversation. And you look so attentive right now, like you're going to say something so important because you're holding your microphone and you're sitting up, but I know that's because the microphone's about to fall. But do you want to close with anything else before we say goodbye?
No, I think that's a wrap.
Cool.
Hope everyone has a great year.
Yeah, let's have a great year together, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.